Hello everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw Mulan. Just kidding, Mulan. Okay, pencils first and then Sharpies. So if you don't want to watch the pencil portion of the video where I sketch the entire thing out, look in the description and you'll find a link that you can click on that will take you to the Sharpie portion of the video. I'll even include one for color. But for those of you that are going to stick around, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself and then get us going. Okay, so action pose, right? Sort of. Alright, sounds good. So you know how I do, you know what I do, you know how I draw. Kind of. If not, I'm going to explain. I sketch. I just throw a bunch of lines down until I get what I want to get. Now, I know where I'm going. I know what I want to do, so I'm not just throwing lines down. But what I mean by that is I'm throwing the basic idea of the sketch down so I can get a good picture of the costume. I can figure out how to lay down the lines I need to lay down. That's what I'm trying to say. So, that being said, I do throw a lot of lines down and try to figure it out. So, a lot of times like this, if you're sticking around to follow to see what I do, this is for me. This is for me to try to figure out the pose, and then I'll go into the sketch. So I know you probably can't see it, but that's okay, because like I said, it's for me. But, you know, I have some tutorials on here about how to sketch and figure this stuff out. But like I said, this is for me to try to find that pose that I want and get her in that position. So, I just throw a bunch of lines down following the basic shapes of the human anatomy and drawing and that kind of stuff. So that's mostly what this is. So I appreciate if you're watching. I know not a lot of people do, and so I'm probably talking to nobody. But if you are watching, you are not a nobody to me. You are special. And I appreciate anybody watching any portion of this, really. It's nice to have people following along and just having a good time. Okay. And I think I'm just going to hand draw the sword. I'm not going to use a ruler, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But sometimes I do, just to make sure. Let's do it now. Just to make sure I get a straight line following the arm. I kind of want it following the flow of the arm, you know? I don't want to like draw it all wonky in this particular drawing. Sometimes I do, but not this time. And this time also what I'm going to do is I'm going to include her fan. Because in the movie, oh, okay, I'm sorry, in the animated version, she disarms, I can't even remember his name, with her fan. And so that's kind of a weapon, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know why I'm counting. I just need to make sure it's staggered like that. That's really it. I'm just trying to impress you that I can count. Are you impressed? Do you like that? Pretty cool, huh? You want to hear me count to 5? 1, 5. See? I'm a mathematical genius. Alright, that's pretty good. And it's kind of an action pose, you know, so it's not too bad. I like where I'm going with it. Let me add a few little extra features just to make sure I don't forget stuff. You know what I'm notorious for forgetting? If there's like a cape hanging and there's legs are open and the cape is back behind him, I'm notorious for forgetting that. It's quite embarrassing, but that's okay because we all make mistakes and you gotta learn from your mistakes. Okay, so now I'm going back and I'm going to add a little bit of detail just to make sure. Let's see, I'm going to get this right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just make sure, that's not exactly how many there are, but I want to make sure I do the same thing over here too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that'll work. And yeah, so I'm just going to add a few details just to make sure that I don't forget stuff. And also to guide me, because the sketch lines were good, as a guide, but then I have to define a few things, you know? Like now the face. Let's see what I can do for the face. I think I got it right. But also this is hard because the tinier these things are, the harder it is to do it with Sharpies. But the whole point is I want you to be able to draw with what you have around your house. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of supplies. You can. You're welcome to buy some awesome supplies, and you should. Treat yourself, you know, buy yourself something nice. But you shouldn't have to if you're just sitting at home on a rainy day and you're like, you know, I want to draw Mulan, and I just want to start. So you look at videos, and you should be able to do it with what you just have around the house. That's kind of my whole theory, is grab a Sharpie, grab a pencil, and let's get to drawing. Okay. I think I'm happy with this. I think it's good enough that it's gonna work with what I want to do. Alright. There we go. I say, yeah, I think we're good. I think we're ready to get started. So I think I'm going to erase some of these sketch lines, because what we really want are the confidence lines, not all these sketches. But we don't want it to stand out over the Sharpie, so I'm going to erase the fuzziness of it and just have the main lines to work with. Where's my eraser? Here we go. And also, in doing so, I'm going to welcome everybody that jumped over to the Sharpie portion. Anybody that watched any portion I'm happy with, so I just want to say thank you. And thank you for watching this. And what I'm doing now is I've got my kneaded eraser, and I'm just kind of going over it, not pushing hard. You know, I just want to lightly pull some of those lines out. If you're working with pencil, you keep going. You just get darker. But because I'm switching over to Sharpie, I want to make sure that this is lighter than the Sharpie and doesn't stand out. And also I got to make sure I don't erase too much. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. I'm gonna switch over now. All right. Alright, welcome skippers, welcome to the Sharpie portion of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I do a drawing every day. You can join along and have some fun. I'm going to be using a Sharpie fine point and a Sharpie pen, mostly the fine point, but the pen's a little finer than the fine point and can find the things that the fine point can't quite find. So, I'm going to start off with a Sharpie pen because I can control the line widths much better. I've sketched the entire thing and I've erased the lighter sketch portions of it, and what's left is a small ghost of an image that's not going to stand out over the Sharpie, but I could still follow along on my sketch. So first things first, I'm going to start off with the eyes and build my way out and see if that works. So let's see what I can do here. It's kind of tiny, but let's see what we can do. So I'm going to draw the top of the eyes first and then work off of that. And it's hard because I can't turn my paper. That should work. That should work. I'm going to draw some retinas, the color part, the biggest part of the round, right? Biggest part of the round like that. And again, seeing if I've got them, and I do have her head turned slightly like this, so I do have the eyes just ever so slightly at an angle. And I just want to make sure I've got everything in the right spot, because you don't want your eyes like this, you know? If you do, erase, start over. But with Sharpies, I guess you can't, right? So that's why I like to see if I've got them in the right spot, to see if I have to do my drawing over. I'm not gonna lie, this is the second time I've done this, because the first time it wasn't right. It was off like this, so I had to redo the entire thing. Okay, so now that I've got the eyes, normally I try to do like a cat eye makeup just to show eyelashes in a small drawing like this. Now she doesn't have it, so let me see what I can do if I can angle it just a little bit and thicken it up just a hair. Again, I don't want to add too much because these Sharpies will start to bleed. And I don't want to do that. Okay, I think that's good enough. I think that gives me enough of, we'll call it a makeup eye, but no makeup. You know what I'm trying to say? All right, so let's do an eyebrow like this. And I'm going to leave them a little thick because I don't know if that's how the actress is in the movie, and I'm kind of going by her image. to make it look right, like a real person, not an animated version. But I also don't know if they did that for the time period. You know, obviously back then they don't have plucked eyes or perfect eyebrows, stuff like that. So they're a little thick, and I like that. That's really cool. It's a good detail. So I'm gonna make these a little thick just to emulate that. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything for the nose. I'm going to leave that subtle. I'm going to come down here for the, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do anything for the bridge. Obviously, I'm going to do something for the nose. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to add the bulb of it like that. But like I said, I'm going to be subtle. I'm not going to do too much because of how tiny this is. If you're drawing bigger, go for it. Add some more details. Draw the bulb of the nose, draw the bridge up. But with the Sharpies and how tiny this is, I can only add so much detail to make it look pretty. So here we go for the mouth. I'm going to draw the corners. Come in like this and go like that. Then I'm going to draw the top lip. Come down here for the bottom one, like that. And I think that's good. I think that's exactly where I want to go. So now I can build out from here and go back to some pictures of her face. All right, so obviously the chin is right underneath, so I'm going to come down here for that. And now I'm going to start to thicken some stuff up too, because I'm going to switch over to this big Sharpie in a second, and this is super huge. So I'm trying to prepare for how big this is going to look versus how tiny this is, and I want it to look kind of similar, okay? So I'm going to come up here for the jaw, and up here to the eyes. I'm going to go like this for the hair, and again, I'm going to thicken it up just a little bit, and plus that'll help you hide any imperfections you had in the face. If you kind of went off a little bit, you can straighten a few things out and fix anything that bugs you. Okay, that's not too bad. I can stick with this and draw it like that. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little bit of the ear, and then the hair is going to come over just like that too. So the ear is going to be in like this. I'm going to connect it right there. I'm going to draw the inside like that, but that's all I'm going to do, because now I'm going to draw the hair all flowing out. Now I think I want to switch over to the Sharpie here. Switch over to the Sharpie. I'm using a Sharpie. Switch over to the big Sharpie here, but I'm going to draw a few of the small hairs just to accent a few things. Like this. And because I have it sketched out, I know where I'm going with this. I'm kind of following my sketch. I'm not just drawing randomly. Okay. Perfect. Okay, not perfect. It's a little braggadocious, right? Let me straighten out some of these lines that I got kind of wonky here. Okay, and I think that's good. Yeah, I'm gonna switch over to the big Sharpie, and anything small. Ooh, no, let's do this. Watch this, watch this. I'm gonna do a crazy hair like this. And I know it looks weird, but just bear with me. That's gonna be one hair off of the rest of the hair, is what I'm doing. So now with the big Sharpie, I'm gonna start to come back and follow some of these hairs. And see how thick that is? That's what I was saying. I was trying to match how thick this is gonna get. And see, it's already starting to, I'm starting to lose it. I'm starting to lose some of this detail. So I'm gonna go back and fix some of this real fast, because it's too thick for the hair. Made a mistake. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up these strands. Let's see, but I have to do her neck, because this is all coming from back behind her head. And I'll go ahead and just draw this neck in here like that, since I'm here. And I'll just draw some strands, not all of them. We're not gonna draw all the hair. I want to, and if you got time and you want to, go for it. But this drawing is more for helping you to draw Mulan. Okay, Mulan. I know it's Mulan. I just like saying Mulan. It's funny. So, is it help you draw Mulan, not how to draw Mu hairs, right? Okay. Okay, but I am going to thicken some of this up to match, you know, that thickness there. How crazy it went. Okay, and so let's see, where's my sketch? It's got more. Oops, I just bumped the camera. And it should work. I'm gonna have to come back with the Sharpies. this one, the Sharpie pen, afterwards once I draw the shoulder and I can define it more. Because right now I want the shoulder to be there before I start drawing extra lines. Okay, I think I'm going to switch over now. So I'll come back if I need to. But now we need to get going with the rest of her. So let's draw her shirt and her arms. So she's got kind of a robe type thing that this part overlaps this part. So we'll draw this first. And I'm going to zigzag it like that because I got it wrinkled right there. And it's kind of up and down like this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and draw the edge of the robe. We'll do something like this. And might as well do the other side too. And then she's got a shirt on that we'll do in a second. There you go. So there. So that's underneath that. So now I have this defined. I can go ahead and define a few lines like this. And again, she's got another shirt that we'll go ahead and do like this, and underneath like that. There we go. Okay, so let's see. So now let's work on, how about this arm? Let's go this way. That way we can finish up this hair too. So we're just going to draw her shoulder to the robe out, flared out like that. And you just look at pictures of the costume. Yeah, just a regular old sleeve. So I'm going to draw her shoulder like that, and it's going to come down and flare it out here. So I've already drawn it, I've already sketched out the anatomy, so I know how far down it goes, where I want it to go. It's going to go around the hand like that, like this. And I'm going to go ahead and just draw it all the way back up. Now, I'm going to add some bumps because up here it's kind of, you know, flared out, not flared out, creased. Like this. There we go. And let's go ahead and just draw the side, might as well. Down to the belt, like this. All right. So, like I said, now that that's defined, I'm going to add just a little bit of closure. So I'm going to close out some of these lines that I had. Add a few extra because she does have some crazy flowing hair. Well, not crazy. Beautiful dynamic hair. That's a better positive spin on it, right? There we go. That's all. I just told you earlier, I said we weren't going to draw all the hairs, and what did I do? I started drawing all the hairs because I want to. It's fun. But that's not what this drawing is about. I know. Okay. There we go. Okay. No, not going to do that. Not going to do that. I'm just going to add a few extra creases like this into the material. I'm going to add some like this just to accent the edges of it. I'm going to do one like this. Again, just to accent. We're good. We're going to draw the hand. Now, the hand is just, you can't see much of it because, oh, sorry, all I have is a lightsaber. Because her hand is kind of going to be like this, holding the edge of the hilt. But, so you can't really see much of it. So all we're really seeing is this part and like that, okay? So I'm going to draw the edge of her hand to the knuckles like I just showed you, and then the finger out like this, the other one in to the thumb, and see how it's just going to be like this weird little like bird mouth. I know, it's because it's the shape of it, you know, it's almost not real, you know. But we're just gonna have to look at it like this, and once you see the bigger picture, it'll make more sense. Okay, that's the best way to look at it. And there are other fingers you can't see because they're wrapped around, and then we're gonna draw the hilt out like this and in like that. Okay, so I've drawn a line with the straight edge to give me a straight edge, but I'm not gonna draw that with this. I'm just going to do it by hand because I have the line and I'm just going to basically just draw it out. And that's okay if it's wonky. Look at that. Look at that. That's all right. Like that. Just simple old sword. And there are like tassels, like little extras to it, stuff like that, but we can't really see. So if you want to do some, you can add a little bit of extra. Just closing off this sleeve that didn't quite close, because we'll add this. How's that? We'll give it a little bit of extra like that. Let's just say that that's hanging down, it goes back there, and then there's a tassel that does this, but you can't really see it, so it almost like looks like it's coming out of her sleeve. And that's why I'm saying you can if you want, but unless you know what that is, it just looks like the price tag on her sleeve. So it's your call if that's what you want to do. Okay, let's keep going. Onto this shoulder. I'm gonna draw it like this, gonna come down. This arm is bent up, so I'm gonna come down with some creases and folds. The arm is gonna come up like this, and the sleeve is hanging down like that, up to the arm, which is, oops, like that. And so this one is pretty much like this. You're only seeing so much of it because of the angle I have it at. So I'm gonna draw the rest of the arm so you can understand where we're coming from. Her body is gonna be in like this. Again, some creases for the sleeve. Gonna come down here to the elbow. Now, see how big this one is? That one is hanging down, so we have a lot of this. Okay, so it's kind of like all falling down. It's not up, obviously, so we have to draw some of the hangle. The hangle dangle is basically what it is. It's all hanging down, dangling over, and basically all just creases and folds wrapped over itself. It's gonna draw a few lines like this, a few to kind of show that it's all wrapped over. It's a little jaunty there. I need to straighten some of those out. There we go. So there, it's just all dangled over. We'll call it the hangly danglies. All right. Okay, so again, the back of her hand is what's going on here, and that's why I wanted to show you that her elbows right here to the arm, which is coming through to there. Okay, let me thicken that up a little bit. So her hand is kind of holding the fan. Ooh, I couldn't think of the word. Her fan like this. So her knuckles are kind of like that. All you're really going to see, because the thumb's back behind it, is like maybe one finger like this. You can see the other ones, but they're just kind of, you're looking at the back of the hand like that, basically. And that's why, like this hand, you're only going to see so much of it. So you just kind of have to finish the drawing out and just let the rest take care of it. Okay, like the entire look help define what it is. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the fan, and it's got a thicker edge like this, you know, the main parts, and then we'll go ahead and just add subtly the edges like this. Like that. Okay, now we're just going to connect them all towards the center. And I'm using the smaller Sharpie for a subtle inking technique, a subtle look. So I wanted this to just not be as thick as the other Sharpie. And it's got a nice thick versus thin inking technique. I'm going to thicken this edge up just a little bit, but not as much. So again, now this part will stand out just a little bit, you know? A little bit more. All right. Okay, so now we're just going to work our way down. And let me get back to the costume here. And we're going to do the belt. Okay, so the belt, it's got the edge here. It's going to come down like this, come back up, because this is a big, thick part of the leather. It's got a strap that comes through, but it's got a not a hook, a loop. God, I just don't have my words. It's got a loop that holds it together that we're going to do like this, but it's got leather wrapped around for the actual tightening of it. So we're just going to do something like this. It's flying because she's in action, and the other end of the loop is kind of coming in, going through like that, connecting to the other part of the leather like that. And Let's see, does it go through? I'm not worried about it, not worried about it. So now, I'm going to, sorry, I'm looking at a picture to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to draw the, I don't know what you call the armor, I guess is what it is, that hangs down. So I'm just doing them together at the same time, so I get about the same width. And then I'm going to come back for the metal, again, armor. I don't know how to say this other than that, that hang down with it. So I'm going to do this. Oh, let's do this. Let's add a new technique. So we're going to add the edge like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and down. Now, the reason I did that is to get the levels of them laying over each other, just to get a nice little technique. I've already sketched out how many lines are there, so I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and up, down. Perfect. So what I think I'm going to do now, let's close this off first. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with the smaller Sharpie to add the armor plates. Plates! That's the word I was thinking of. Woo! Couldn't think of it. But I want to do it subtly, so that's why I'm going to add this Sharpie, like that. And that's why I wanted these lines, so I can get like a nice little subtle rays that they're laying over themselves. You know? Techniques, style. That's what it's all about. Creating your own look, you know? Alright, so there you go. So you got a nice thick versus thin armor plating look. Perfect. Alright, let's keep going. So her robe actually hangs down, and so it's going to be kind of flowing through all this. So we're going to do this edge here. So let's go ahead and pretend it's coming down. Do that. Do something like this, a little dynamic, a little flow to it. And we're going to flow it up this way. We're going to go up, down. I'll show you why in a second. Then up, back like that. Because what I was doing was creating like a ribbon, like a flow, you know? Like that. It's got all jaunty. Try to clean that up. You know, just kind of a few little... well, again, I don't have the words. A few little subtle flows of the robe, I guess is what the word I'm trying to go for. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of play around with some lines here just because I can. There we go. Makes it come alive, brings it some life, you know. Okay, so we'll say this end is flowing through there, but because it's two different ones, we're going to go ahead and do something like this, just to separate them, you know. Because if I were to draw it back here, it would look like a skirt, like one whole thing. But we kind of want it separate. You can't see that. Separate to show that it's two halves folded over each other. Okay. So now we're just going to draw legs. I'm going to come in here, do this, like that, to the boot. Same thing here. Let's do this side, to the boot. There's the knee bend. There's that. And then we're just going to draw regular old boots. I'll come back and add a few details there, but just follow the boot down. Nothing too crazy here. Same thing here. Down to the ankle. To the top of the foot. Like that. There we go. So I just got to add a few extra little details just to, you know, show some creases and folds, just to show that it's material. I like adding creases and folds because it shows that it's flexible, you know, or in this case with the boot, that it's had some wear. You know, there's a lot of wear and tear on these boots, especially if she's fighting a war, you know, something like that. But not too much. We don't want to go crazy. I mean, I do want to go crazy, but I gotta not go crazy. So, and that's it. I think we'll take care of the rest with color. There we go. So that is Mulan.
So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used. or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of How I Draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.